Greetings and salutations. This is HUGH JARSZ. I had a little mic problem there. I'm the biggest YouTuber ever, and I'm back from the dead. Lots of people are telling me, how long are you staying? But we'll see how that works. I have a lager lurgy story to tell you. And yes, I'll call it the lager lurgy because YouTube's a bit funny with using the actual word. So yes, I went away for a break with some friends, and apparently they all had the lager lurgy, and myself and some other friends, we all got it. Took me out for about 10 days in total, I'd say. And then the recovery from that was difficult too. I didn't really expect it to affect me so badly. Not so much that it made me feel bad, it's just that I had so little energy. I would sort of just get through the day, and I have very little energy at the end of the night. So I haven't been able to make many videos lately because I just don't have the energy to do it. I'm hoping to correct that in the next week or so. There's so many subjects to have a look at. And then hopefully I'll do a live stream on Saturday night, Eastern Australian time, as well, because I'd very much like to get back into this because I really like talking to you guys. And it's great fun to do videos and give it to the idiots out there who try to deliberately deceive our children and our friends, and we want to make sure that they at least have an answer to the rubbish that they put out so that others can see the answer as well. So how are we all? Let's see who's in the chat. Hello, Tommy Grumville was in first, although I don't know if he's still there. Actually, let's make him blue. He deserves a spanner or wrench, whatever you want to call it. My mum bakes cakes. I hope you're still there too. It's always good to see you. Circumference, not quite. Well, that's true. Mippet, dragging my fat ass, we're Australian, we speak English, is a major effort. It always is, yes. I always have a wheelbarrow to help me carry it around. Dora, always good to see you. And lunchtime, yes, it's always lunchtime somewhere. Colin, my good friend, thank you for so many things that you do for so many people in the community. And I went where I've been there and back again to see how far it was. Yep, I pretty much did. Yeah. Hello, Judy, one of our members, or Dora was as well. One of the great supporters of YouTube creators in this community. So thank you, Judy, for being here, and thank you for supporting me in particular. Peter Noddle, g'day, Peter. Andy Sibley, another member, another JARSZ soul. How are you, mate? It's good to see you from Shropshire. There was an ad. What was it for? I can't remember what it was for, but there's this girl and she sees this man, and he's an African, and she was all sort of giddy about him and went over and tried to talk to him. And she said, "Oh, I was for coffee." That's what it was. And she said, "Oh, this is strong. Like where from you're from?" And he went, "Really, Shropshire? How wonderful!" So I don't know how it went from there. Andy said, "Yeah, Mippeta did. Inquisitor Bacon, good morning. Is that the Bacon who lives in South America? Because I'd very much like to hear from you soon. In fact, you'll find out why a little later tonight." Now Opinion, wonderful to see Now Opinion. I haven't seen many videos from you lately, so you'd be good to see it. Hey, who am I to talk? And Strigan News One, another one of my members. Good to see you. How many people we got? We got 18, and I've only just started. How about that? No, Tim Anderson, I got the lager lurgy. YouTube doesn't like calling it that, so I can't say that. I don't want to be, demonetized or anything. Oh, North America, the East Coast. So you're not the Bacon I'm looking for. Makona, that's what it was. Yes, thank you, Andrew Johnson, and good evening to you. Any others lurking that haven't said hello in the chat yet, so I can say hello to you? That's always puts the cat amongst the pigeons. No, Strigan News One said hi, so good. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's have a look at what I want to talk tonight. So it's going to be a little bit of a different live stream. I'm going to just talk about a few topics that I'm interested in, and then we'll have a look at some derp later on, particularly from Level Earth Observer. And God, that was terrible. Gareth Dawson, nice to see you. Good evening. So the first thing, let me share my screen now. Oops, hang on, that's the wrong screen. It's been a while since I've done this, so give me a second to figure it out. Yes, it's that one. I found this article from Ars Technica. I particularly liked it because it was Ars. Twitter warns of possible employee exodus before Musk completes purchase. So in case you don't know, Elon Musk has decided to buy... Oh, Elon Musk is here too. G'day, Elon Musk. Has decided to buy Twitter, and he's paid a fortune for it, $44 billion. I didn't think it'd be worth that much, but he was looking to do a social media network anyway. So he, rather than start his own, he bought the biggest one out there that there was. And strangely, the employees and many of the followers of Twitter have sort of gone off the deep end as a result, which is strange. I don't think Elon Musk has ever really expressed much of a political opinion, so he doesn't really identify as left or right or anything like that. Hey, Crafty Kilo, good to see you. Yes, I'm feeling much better now, and I've got some energy, so we'll see how long it lasts, but at least I'm trying. Yes, I don't think he's ever expressed a political opinion. So, and in fact, if anything, he was pretty much a darling of one particular side of the political spectrum. I don't promote one over the other, so I'm not going to say which. But one of the things that seemed to tick them off is when he announced that he was a free speech absolutist, which means he thinks nothing should be banned. We should just say everything, and anything that's bad will get the treatment it deserves by the opposing people. And I've got to say, I've got sympathy for that point of view. And I think that's particularly political. It's a philosophical point of view. But apparently that's the thing that ticked off all the people who work at Twitter. And of course, whenever anyone buys your company, Elon is right-wing anti-Labor. Okay, I've never really seen that anywhere. Anyway, when someone buys your... Yeah, I guess he would because he's a billionaire, so yes. I hadn't thought that far. Anyway, when someone buys your company, you're always a bit nervous because you don't know what's going to happen, what they're going to do with it, because if it's their company, they can do what they want. And you've been there for however long, and you felt rather comfortable with the way it's going. And so I imagine that you could be a bit nervous. I think the people who will be most nervous, because it's Elon Musk, is the Twitter marketing department. Because Elon Musk, none of his companies have a marketing department. And the reason for that is he doesn't need it. There is no one on earth who could generate more interest in Elon Musk's products than a tweet from Elon Musk. He's quite incredible on Twitter. And he just doesn't need a marketing department. Tesla doesn't do advertising or anything like that. And well, SpaceX doesn't really need to do it. Every time they do stuff, they're advertising it. And now Twitter. I mean, have you ever seen an ad for Twitter? But he just has to post them. One of my favorite tweets is when Bernie Sanders said something complaining about what Elon was doing, and Elon responded, "I keep forgetting you're still alive." I just cracked up at that. But he uses it really well as a tool. So it's a bit of a masterclass in how to tweet, I guess. Twitter is something I personally avoid because it only ever seems to sink to nasty arguments, and I'm not really interested in that. So, but yeah, good on him. But I think it's interesting that people say that it's going to cause an employee exodus. Like I said, the marketing department will be sacked, that's for sure. But if people don't want to work for a free speech absolutist, I think there's plenty of other people who do want to work for him. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to have a problem. Anyway, I just thought that article was quite amusing to me. And I think Elon Musk is an interesting guy. I'm not quite sure I could say I like him or not. Here in Australia, he sold the South Australian government a battery for $120 million to keep the power on because they were losing a lot of power a couple of years ago, and the whole state was, suffering as a result. But the battery only keeps the power on for about 5 minutes, I calculated, based on the figures they gave. So $120 million to keep the power on for 5 minutes. I'm not sure that was a good deal. But hey, governments buy anything usually, don't they? It seems to me he's very good at getting other people to give him money. That's his main skill. and that's not necessarily a skill I admire. If you're getting good value in return, sure, but that particular example, I don't think the South Australian people got a good return, and they got rid of their government as part of it too, I think, from memory. Anyway, that's a different thing. Like I said, I don't want to talk politics. I just interested to see extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. So, did I get all my talking points? Because I'm by myself, of course. I don't have a guest tonight, so I don't have anyone to bounce off. So you just got pure JARSZ today. I hope you enjoy pure JARSZ. Yes, that's a good point, Inquisitor Bacon. I wonder how Musk intends to handle misinformation, because how do you define misinformation? Everyone's got a bias, and there are some things that are objectively true, but a lot of things in life are things that are a bit subjective. So anyway, Colin, was that for me? If that is, thank you. It's good to see you too. I haven't seen you for a while, to be honest. I've been enjoying. Well, I've been sick. I've been enjoying the debates on FTFE and MC Toon. He's had some real derpers there. Yes, pure JARSZ is Hugh's new Musk. Not my new Musk. It's always been that. And I've enjoyed the guy today. It's just, I hate it when they just don't ask questions and don't listen to the answers. That, to me, shows that they're not there for anything. They're not truth seekers or anything like that. They're just pains in the ass, basically. And we could do a few of those in the world today, I think. Okay, so second talking point. When I was a boy, if I'll just stop sharing. When I was a boy, about 6 o'clock each night on our ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Commission, there was a little British show, and it's been around for a while. The first person playing the lead role that I recall was an actor called John Pertwee, who seemed quite interesting to me. And then later, when he left the show, there was another actor called Tom Baker, who I thought was a pretty awesome guy. He was a very interesting character. And that show has continued on. It's been going for nearly 60 years now, I think. And it's called Doctor Who. And the last actor to play the yes, you got it right, Mebit. And the last actor to play that is drawing a blank. The first name's Jodie. I forget her last name. And she was the first female to play the role. Up until then, it's always been a male. And when the Doctor as a character that I remember is sort of like a professor type, John Pertwee, Tom Baker. Tom Baker's more a crazy professor, but you know what I mean. I never got to see William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton, although they did make guest appearances later on. And I think I remember seeing Peter Davidson, the guy from that vet show. And I think I've lost interest, and I grew up and was more interested in girls or something after that. And then I came back to it with Christopher Eccleston, and I thought he was really good. And then they had, I'm mixing the two up, David Tennant, not Matt Tennant. I was going to say Matt Tennant. David Tennant, who I think captured a lot of the Tom Baker sort of feeling. But I did notice that the doctors were starting to get younger and younger, which to me is sort of against the character. Because he's meant to know an awful lot of information, and this is as he's going on in his life. So he's learning as he goes along, and you think you get more that professory like. I mean, there are female professors too. But because you're getting younger, you sort of move away from that stereotype, no matter what the gender. And I guess that's to get girls to watch, I guess, from a marketing point of view, that to be completely cynical, which is not something I particularly like. But and then there was Matt. Oh God, I'm forgetting his name too. Matt Davis is what coming to my head, but that's not him. Someone in the chat will help me. Hey, Professor Phil, how are you? Professor Phil, I know, has not been too well lately, so I'm not going to reveal any details. Matt Smith. How can you forget a name like Smith? God, my brain is just not in gear. Oh, Monkey in the Works is here. Hello, Monkey in the Works, another one of my members. Oh, Multi-Gerbs. Okay, nice to see you. And my Mum Bakes Cakes is back in. Good to see you. Anyone I haven't missed? No, okay. Yeah, the Daleks gave me nightmares too, Tim. It was weird. Now you just see them as kind of pathetic, really. But back then, with limited special effects and things like that, they really got the sense of menace that they were trying to communicate. Anyway, I really enjoyed Doctor Who in all its forms. And when Jodie came along, I wasn't particularly bothered that she was a female. I thought, well, you know, it's a TV show. It's got to change and appeal to new audiences and things like that. But I've got to say, she wasn't the best actress. And even if she was, Chris Chibnall, I think his name was the showrunner. And he seemed to hire really terrible writers. They had, oh, hang on. Yes, several Whovians here. Really, yes. So Chris Chibnall hired really terrible writers. And the stories were just utterly ridiculous. They seemed to focus more on special effects and not enough on actually telling a good story and entertaining the audience, which to me is, if you've got something that's entertainment, that's like your number one thing. If you look back at the old Doctor Who, they didn't have the budget and they didn't have the technology to give you lots of good visuals. It was, in fact, that was part of the charm of the show, that it was so crappy visually, and yet they could tell the story really effectively, and it was a really good story all the time. And I think the people running Doctor Who today need to look back at that and realize that they should divert. Sure, today's audience want to see the special effects and things like that, but they don't have to be the be-all and the end-all of the show, and they certainly cannot carry the show. A few new people in the chat. It's me, Mario Rui. Hello, Mario. Southern Sal. Hey, Sal. Hopefully we can have a chat on the weekend on your live stream. And, yep, that's it. Just noticed a couple of names. I thought I'd say hi. And, yeah, so Jodie wasn't I don't think she was a very successful doctor. Nothing to do with her gender, more to do with her acting ability and the scripts that she had to work with. I actually gave up watching when I couldn't really figure out what was going on. And then it was a storyline where the moon was an egg for this interstellar creature. And the egg hatched and the interstellar creature came out. And then it laid another egg that was exactly the same size and look as the moon. That just makes no sense whatsoever. And that's where I said, right, I'm not wasting my time with this rubbish anymore. I don't know if it's gotten better since then. I've not heard a lot that says that was the case. But now Jodie's leaving the show and we have this chap. I understand his hair is a different color now. And this is his name here, and I understand the way to pronounce it is Ncuti Gatwa. I hope I've got that right. I apologize if I got it wrong, Ncuti. But I'm hoping that he'll be a good doctor. Again, I'm not particularly bothered that he's a boy. It's how he uses the role. Oh, yes, Crafty, you might be right. That's where I stopped watching. I did sort of look in on Jodie once or twice, and I didn't get the sense that it had improved, put it that way. But yeah, so I'm hoping, but again, he's rather young. So it's sort of hard to give that sense that he's been alive for, 1,200 years now or something, and knows so much of the universe and that kind of thing. If you're such a young looking fella, and that bothers me. So I know some people will be bothered by his appearance, shall we say. That doesn't bother me either. Time Lords can be anything. There's lots of precedence for that. And hey, John Eagle. Oh, someone's done it. Good. But as long as he's good and as long as he's got good stories to go with it. And as someone said earlier, Crafty said Russell T Davies is back in control. He was the one that brought it back with Christopher Eccleston. And he went through, I think, just before Peter Capaldi, or maybe during Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi was an inspired choice for the Doctor. He's such an expressive actor. He's a really good actor. But yes, the writing was going downhill, and that's where I left it. So I'm hoping we have a better Doctor with better writing, especially with Russell T Davies there, but I'm not necessarily sure that's the case. And like I said, he seems a bit young to me to be the Doctor, to be credible in that role for that character. But we shall see. I'm not going to judge him before I've even seen him do it. So I'm hoping that he gets the support that he needs to be a good Doctor. And we'll look forward to good Doctor Who in the future, I hope. And I'm not really seeing anyone saying anything about me, about these points of view. I was hoping I'd start a bit of a debate in the chat. But what do you all think about the new Doctor? Station. What does station mean? Yes, you're right, Crafty. It is a young-looking individual with that experience behind the eyes. Is the appeal for some people? Yeah. I guess I'm an older fan, and what I remember is the John Pertwee, Tom Baker type. I love David Tennant. I think he's pretty close to the best Doctor, if not the best one. Most people prefer Tom Baker from what I hear. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And he's only just been announced in the last couple of days, so we'll see what happens. I do like his smile. It's a good smile, isn't it? Anyway, let's have a strange little break. I found this video, and I'm still trying to make sense of it. Oh, is it playing? No. How do I play? There we go. There's sound, but it doesn't really make any difference. What is that kangaroo doing to that wombat? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Any thoughts? Emma Thorne. There's a thought. No one cares about the wombat? That's fine. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so our old friend Level Earth Observer, the master of incredulity, and someone who clearly knows nothing about what he's talking about. Oh, I've just realized. I'm not sharing, am I? Oh my God. All right, my apologies. Sorry, it's been so long since I've done this, I'm losing my touch. You didn't see it. So for those who didn't see it, there's the picture of the new Doctor. So everyone's seen that. And here's my little wombat video that I was trying to figure out. What is going on? I don't know. You tell me. Okay. Hey, Asa, how are you? Yes, chat's a little bit behind, of course. This is the way delay works. So I'm going to live criticize, I might say, our old friend Level Earth Observer, because he's a bit of a waste of space, really. So we'll see what happens. Have a listen to this.
Check this out from NOAA, their latest so-called geostationary weather satellite known as the CORGIS 18. Lads, you blew it already. The first image that comes from the CORGIS 18 shows the Earth to be something that's scientifically impossible.
Okay, Leo, you always say it's scientifically impossible, but you never say why. And in fact, you never demonstrate at all that you understand what scientifically means. Let's see if you explain that.
i.e. a ball. So already we know this thing is a fraud. Straight off
No, only if you're correct. You've got to prove you're correct first.
the bat, because they're showing the Earth to be a ball, which no one on this Earth can prove with a scientific demonstration.
What rubbish! Where have you been? Living under a rock? The fact that the sun sets proves that it's a ball. The fact that ships go over the horizon proves that it's a ball. What's wrong with you?
It can. It's exactly the opposite. Everyone can prove the globe is scientifically impossible.
Well, you've never done it, so how can you know that?
Large standing bodies of water can't display convexity upon its surface. Tower cranes and pendulums can't be dead still whilst doing ludicrous speeds in all different directions.
That's not anyone's claim. It's a constant speed in the same direction.
And you can't have an air pressure system next to a vacuum without...
Again, not the claim. There's a gradient up from 14 pounds per square inch at the surface up to near zero past the Kármán line.
a solid wall separating the two. Demonstrable truths, facts that can be tested and verified by all. The results of
They are, and the testing does not go in your favour.
which prove this thing on our screen is scientifically impossible.
No, it proves that your assertion is wrong.
Pinned comment for any practical references from globe believers to refute those three fundamental truths. 18.
Oops, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. What was I up to?
First image that comes from the GOES 18 shows the Earth to be a ball, which no one on this Earth can prove with a science ball. Large standing bodies of water can't display
I think we're up to
separating the two. Demonstrable truths, facts that can be tested and verified by all, the results of which prove this thing on our screen is scientifically impossible.
No, like I said, the results prove the exact opposite.
Pinned comment for any practical references from globe believers to refute those three fundamental truths that I've just stated that prove this thing on our screen to be scientifically impossible.
All right, I might take that challenge up and might do a video and answer those 3 points.
Don't want any words, explanations, cartoons, diagrams, stories. I'm only interested in scientific demonstrations that can be tested and verified by all. There
Well, I don't know why you asked for that, because you've never offered anything like that.
are none that back the globe. Everyone that can be tested and verified that is a practical reference proves this thing on our screen scientifically impossible.
Again, demonstrate that you understand what scientifically means. Otherwise, don't use the word.
Fact.
Not always a bit dodgy when music's being played. I'll just mute this bit. I think all he's doing is showing the rocket putting the thing into space. Hang on, let's see what he's saying here.
Scientifically impossible ball, an image of a scientifically impossible ball, to a firework display, to now CGI. Can you not see the problem? Dear.
Can you not see the problem with your incredulity? I mean, those things cost millions. They're really going to do that just to fool some idiot in a crane? What's wrong with you, man?
And then we come to this. I'm often cited this kind of stuff from globe believers as proof of satellites. But all this is a simulation that's got its data from old technology, as we're about to see. Nothing to do with satellites in space. If you've got a geostationary
I hope you're going to prove that claim.
satellite watching half of the Earth consistently, continuously, then you wouldn't need hundreds upon hundreds of Victorian technology weather balloons, would you?
Yes, you would. Do you not understand what geostationary is? That satellite is 25,000 kilometers from Earth. A weather balloon is maybe 50. Don't you understand? You'll get much better resolution with a weather balloon for a local area. So the geostationary orbit satellite will give you a big picture. The weather balloons will give you a smaller local picture. You need both to be able to determine what's happening with the weather. Surely that's really obvious.
And that is the data that these hundreds of balloons get launched daily, that gets put through simulations, and then we get this sighted on our screen as somehow this comes from space. You wouldn't need
You need to prove that it doesn't. It's easy to prove that it does.
hundreds of Victorian balloons going up daily if you had satellites in space.
Well, given balloons are made from mylar generally, which wasn't available to the 1950s, it's a bit rude calling it Victorian.
As we're about to see, bear with me.
Bear with you? No, you're bloody unbearable. Hopefully you're going to get to some genuine science soon. But given your past videos, I don't think there's much chance of that.
So I'm over at NOAA, the National Weather Service for America, and we got weather balloons. Twice a day, every day of the year, weather balloons are released simultaneously from almost 900 locations worldwide. This includes 92 released by the National Weather Service in the US and its territories. So twice a day at almost 900 locations, 92 of which are in America or surrounding areas, weather balloons are released twice a day.
I see Professor Phil in the chat corrected me. It must be 25,000 miles. A geostationary orbit is 36,000 kilometers. And seeing Professor Phil Bell has put up a few of those, I'd take his word for it.
Kind of gives the game away, lads. You wouldn't need to use that Victorian tech if you had satellites in space. The problem is you need to use that Victorian tech, balloons, to get the data to run your simulations to then cite that that's come from space. Satellites going around a sun.
So your argument is we use balloons for local area, therefore satellites don't exist. What about the other way around? Why aren't the balloons the conspiracy? Maybe they're the fake.
Scientifically impossible, Paul. Sorry, lads. The game's up. No one on this earth can prove the globe. It's daft. I can't take anyone serious now who tries to defend it unless they cite some kind of practical reference.
You can't take other people seriously, hey? The feeling's mutual.
And yet not one single person on this earth who represents the globe or believes in it can cite a practical scientific reference that backs the claims that can be tested and verified by.
I cited two earlier. And I'm not alone, that's for sure. If you're not seeing it happening, you've got your eyes closed.
It's ridiculous. I mean, how much is this GOES 18 actually? Bear with me.
No, you're unbearable.
Look at that. $11.7 billion.
Exactly the point. You actually believe they spend $11.7 billion to launch fireworks, as you call it, just to fool an idiot in a crane. I mean, how much more ridiculous is anything? That's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Fucking disgusting. Excuse my language. But yeah,
no, you rude bugger.
$11.7 billion for that fraud.
Prove it's a fraud. It's a very serious thing to call something a fraud. If you don't have evidence that it's a fraud, you shouldn't say that.
Firework display. An image of something that's scientifically impossible. CGI. And then simulations, which the data has obviously come from the hundreds of weather balloons that get released daily. It's an absolute joke and mockery for any of these globe believers, and disgusting that they're willing to pay that much money on fraudulent pantomimes like this GOES 18 when millions are suffering. I think.
Oh, click the wrong button, but that's good. That's probably enough of him. Scott Manley, he's always good to watch, but we won't do that today. Oh God, just every argument he ever makes is based on incredulity, isn't it? He never puts any real evidence forward. He poisons the well by using certain bits of language, like a Victorian thing describing balloons. I think balloons are actually pre-Victorian. I think the 1700s is when balloons were first put together. And of course, like I said, the modern balloons aren't anything like they were in the Victorian times. It's just a false thing to say. But hey, it's Level Earth Observer. You got to lie to Flurf. Okay, what have I missed in the chat? I saw Professor Phil talking earlier, so that's why I made that correction. I always like to be corrected. Arctic Reflections is here. Hello, Arctic. It's always good. I actually thought about doing one of your videos today. You've been doing good responses to the Next Level film that's on. Film, what do you call it? Pack of Lies is probably the best way of describing it. And I thought what you did was really good, and I thought I had a few things I could add to it, actually. So I thought I might do a review of it, but I went for this instead. Who else is here? Hey, Second Best Bob's here. Hello, Bob. Bob always says hi to me whenever we see each other in the chat, and he's one of my members, so it's always great to see you. Monkey in the Works, I think I said hello to you. The reason Leo is driving a crane and not a Microsoft is the inability to understand basic fecking science. Yes. John Eagle, hi. Down here. How does a balloon get from the UK to Australia in 40 minutes? Yeah, Hugh JARSZ, you dare to fish outside Australia? I fished in Fiji. Where else have I fished? I don't like fishing in cold water, put it that way. I don't think I fished in the US or the UK. How about sometime I come over to Sweden or Norway if it's wintertime and you take me out fishing in the ice somewhere. I'd really like to do that sometime, ice fishing. Yes. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. I think we did Level Earth Observer a good service there because he really doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just an incredulous fool. But he always gives us a laugh, so it's always good to laugh at him. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, I'm looking for someone in South America, and I would like, particularly in the eastern part of South America, and I'll show you why later, because it's coming up to the equinox. Sorry, the solstice, not the equinox. Where is it? Yeah, it's the solstice. And 2 years ago, I proposed an experiment where we could live stream people in Western Australia, in Southern Africa, and in South America. And they need to get a camera that could film the film stars, and we could live stream what they're seeing and prove that you could see the Southern Cross, just to make it easy, from all three locations, which would be completely impossible on a flat Earth because they'd be pointing in different directions. I'm going to play my Gosh video to explain all that. And as a treat, it has the old logo, the old intro on it. So enjoy this. Let me just share the screen. That one, and audio, and away we go.
Huge. HUGH JARSZ. HUGH JARSZ.
HUGH JARSZ.
JARSZ.
Hugh. You make me the HUGH JARSZ.
Good evening, HUGH JARSZ.
HUGH JARSZ. I love that name.
JARSZ. HUGH JARSZ. No, only Lord.
Lord HUGH JARSZ.
HUGH JARSZ.
HUGH JARSZ.
The Hugh JARSZ. Please let me know how you pronounce it.
Such a bimbo.
Huge anus.
Good evening, Mr. JARSZ.
HUGH JARSZ.
And HUGH JARSZ.
I love you, Hugh.
Greetings and salutations. This is HUGH JARSZ.
My
If you
God.
saw my last video, you'll know about my great observation in the Southern Hemisphere project, or GOSH for short. I've heard more than one flat earther say that they would change their minds if it could be shown that the stars looking south from the 3 non-Antarctic continents at the same time are the same. The reason why this is a flat earth killer is obvious when you look at the AE map, which is the preferred view of the flying pizza that most flirts believe in religiously. Australia and South America are on opposite sides of the world, according to this map. So if we are living on a stationary frisbee under a rotating celestial sphere, then there's no way the stars looking south could possibly be the same on the 3 southern hemisphere continents. Unfortunately, to see stars, you need it to be nighttime. Reality interjects here and says that because of the tilt of the Earth's axis, the only time that it is night in all 3 places at the same time is around the longest night of the year, which is on June 21st. So for about a week either side of then, such an observation is possible. It will be just after sunset in South America, middle of the night in Southern Africa, and near sunrise in Western Australia. This difficulty is why it hasn't really been done before, and by Flurf logic, if it has never been done, that's because it's impossible. But if we do this observation, we should easily show that it is possible, and at least the Flurfs will no longer have that excuse. So to kill this flat earth idea, I'm asking for people in South America, Southern Africa, and Western Australia to participate in the observation. The more observers that we have, the more indisputable the results. Not that Flurfs ever accept empirical results, but that doesn't matter. People who are too far gone are not our concern. We're worried about those who are on the fringe and who might go either way, but who are genuinely seeking the truth. If you think you can help, email me on hughjarss1@gmail.com. But first, look at timeanddate.com. If you are in South America, check if it will at least be half an hour after sunset on June 21st at 2300 GMT. You'll have to look up your time zone if you don't know it already and figure that out. Anyone in Southern Africa should have night already, so that will work for you. And if you are in Western Australia, make sure sunrise where you are on the 22nd is no earlier than 7 a.m. and preferably later. Perth sunrise is 7:17, for example, but Broome won't work because that's 6:22. The intention is to live stream what you see in each location, so it's clear that everyone is seeing the same thing at the same time, and hence we're once again killing flat Earth. To participate, you'll need a few things. Number 1 requirement, a camera capable of showing the Southern Cross as an example, preferably with a tripod to make it easier. To test, go out any night and video the Southern Cross. If you can't see it in the resulting video, you might need to figure out access to a better device. Number 2, download Discord if you haven't already, and connect with me so that I can tie your feed into the live stream. Number 3 requirement, a safe place to perform your observations, preferably away from city lights. I appreciate not all countries are as safe as mine, but that also disqualifies me from advising you how to manage that risk. So that's up to you to make decisions about. I don't want anyone putting themselves in danger for this. Number 4 requirement, a reliable internet connection. Last thing we need is a bad connection or lots of dropouts. If we don't have at least one person observing from each continent at the same time, then we really don't have enough data. Again, how you ensure your connection will depend on what's available in your location, so that has to be up to you to manage. Number 5 requirement, the ability to be outside at 2300 GMT on June 21st and a week or so either side of that. Because of the weather factor, we might start attempting this on June 14th and do it each night until we get it. This might mean you need to rearrange your schedules to be available. I think that covers it for now. Many thanks to all those who have already expressed interest. This is starting to get exciting. So what are you waiting for? Send me an email and let's kill the flat Earth together.
Wow. That was embarrassing. That terrible audio. I'll have to remake that video, I think. Wow. But I hope you got the idea. And just to illustrate it, let's go back to, I have to share again, don't I? So many clicks on this. There we go. So this is time and date, showing the sunlight map for the 21st of June this year at 2200 UTC. So you can see there's the UK. In fact, the sun wouldn't have set properly then. And it's the point in the year where it's the longest night in the southern hemisphere. So this is the closest you're going to get to having that shadow big enough to stretch between Western Australia and South America. And as you can see, you have to be in the right place in South America. If you're over here, it's not going to work because you're not going to see the stars because it'll be too bright. But if you're down here, which I believe I know of one person who's around there, that's astronomical twilight, which means you can still see the stars. So that will work. You'll be able to film the Southern Cross. Obviously, it's the middle of the night here in South Africa, so they're not a problem. And in Western Australia, it's also astronomical twilight as the sun is coming up. So you should be able to get the Southern Cross there. The Southern Cross will be in a different position in the sky because you're further around the globe. But you should be able to film it at each 3 locations. And the orientation of the Southern Cross relative to the horizon can be measured and used to prove that you're at the location you are. So that's going to be fascinating if we can get someone in South America, because that's the key part. I've got people in Western Australia. I've got people in Southern Africa. South America is a little bit more difficult. There's just fewer people. There's less reliable internet. I just need fewer people come on YouTube, put it that way, is what I mean. And I'm aware of one person who I'm trying to contact. They might be able to do it, but like I said in the video, the more people we have, the more data points we have, and the more indisputable it is. Because if it's one person, it could be written off as a freak result. But if you've got 3 people getting the same result, it's pretty clear what's going on. So I'm hoping that there are people out there who can help me with that. And it's a little over a month away. If I can get my act together, I hope to fly over there next year, but we'll see. It'd be nice to do this because it'd be just one thing that the Fleurs couldn't really argue with. And I don't think anyone's really done this before, so it'd be good to have that happening. Right, what's happening in the chat? Mr. E-Man's on my side of Australia, the correct side, so good. Yes. Well, yeah, Crafty Keeler says she'd love to help. There's no real equivalent in the Northern Hemisphere because the way the AE map is, it's focused on the North Pole. So it wouldn't prove anything if we did something similar in the wintertime up there. It's the fact that the Southern Hemisphere has this that proves that the Earth is a globe. And we need to, I think we need to make this happen at some point. It just requires coordination with people in the right places. That's Daryl M. Oh God, I hope you're watching the good Star Trek, not the crap that we've seen recently. Yes, another one of my members. Welcome, Daryl M. Good to see you. That's pretty much it I have for this run. It went a bit quicker than I thought it would, but that's all right. Like I said, I'm still recovering from the Lago Lurgi. I haven't said it yet, and it's good for me to go and have a bit of a rest instead. In fact, I have been a bit muddled in my words, which is probably indicating that I'm a bit tired. But it's great to be back, and it's great to be interacting with you guys. Oh, I got 36 watching, which is really good. That's good to see. Thank you. I'm hoping to live stream on Saturday as well. I need to nail down what that's going to be about. I'm hoping I can do it with PhD Tony because we were going to do the Saxon Kings, one of our history series. It's not for everyone, but we enjoy doing it. So if you'd like to see that, maybe that'll happen, or I'll do something else. I was actually having a thought of having a look at the next level video and live debunking that in a live stream, although that might be a big job. Might be more fun to just do a little video on that and break it up into different sections and release it that way, like I'm doing for Taboo Conspiracy. And I've got to finish off that series as well. So I've got a lot in the pipeline. So look forward to a lot more Huge Arse in the future. I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's show. And do we have any final words? I probably will remake that Gosh video because, God, that was god-awful audio. I had a decent microphone back then too. I've got a Yeti now, so I guess it's not so bad. But yes, thank you, Mippet. Thank you for reminding people. In fact, yes, 24 likes and 37 watching. Those remaining people, please click like. And that'll be very nice for the algorithm for me. Planet Walk's here. Ahoy, hoy. Gee, it's late in the night for you, mate. I guess you're a young man. You can stay up late. Yes, just as it's ending. Yes, I ran a bit short today. But you can watch it when it saves up. Yeah. And yes, I am a bit tired, I guess. But I am back from the dead recently. So what else do you expect? And as to Level Earth Observer, if he shows up, this is what I want to say to him.
What, are you retarded?
It seems appropriate somehow. I think Rio would be ideal. Yeah, that would be good. Yes, I'm old. Yes, I'm, what is it? A month and a half older than you, I think. That's what I seem to remember when we had that discussion. Okay, so I think that's time to end it. So if you like this video, please make sure you give it a like. If you really like this video, and consider contributing to my work by becoming a member, and you'll become a very special JARSZ soul. I love my JARSZ souls. They're wonderful people. There's quite a few in the chat right now, which is always great to see. And I will be hopefully doing more videos very soon, especially as I get better. And now it's time to cue the corgi.
There's nothing left to do but cue the corgi.
You're despicable.